Hey everybody. So in our last video, we animated the jellyfish and we programmed the jellyfish to choose a random location. Go and start it and take a look at it. We'll watch the jellyfish move and we programmed it to go to a random location, move over to the x-axis, and then come in at an angle. Now this is all good and well, but we can cheat the system. If we just go to this upper corner, the highest our jellyfish can go is this upper right and come across, so we'd be safe here the whole time. We don't want that. So what we want is a second jellyfish coming upwards. And we can do this in several ways. First and quickest way we can do it is we can right click on our jellyfish sprite and hit duplicate and go into the code of our new jellyfish, and instead of saying change by -2, we can have it change by 2. And let's go ahead and start that. And now we have a second jellyfish coming upwards instead of downwards, and it'll force the shark to move all over more. All right, so that'll work for us, but let's use a different method. I'm going to go ahead and delete this jellyfish and go into this one, and we're going to create what is called a clone. And a clone is a copy of an existing sprite. So under events, under control, when I scroll down at the bottom, there is a set of code that says when I start as a clone, create a clone or delete this clone. So I'm going to tell it when the game begins to wait. And let's have one jellyfish come out first. Let's wait 9 seconds. And then I want it to create a clone. And the clone can be of any of the sprites, but it's usually best to go ahead and program it in the sprite that it is. So I'm going to have it make a clone of itself. All right, so now after 9 seconds, we're going to have a clone, except for the fact our clone doesn't know what to do. So I'm going to put a second set of code in here that says when I start as a clone, and I want it to act the same way as this jellyfish, except I don't want it to wait because I've already told it to wait. So I'm going to duplicate this code starting at switch costumes to jellyfish C. Let me scroll in here a little bit so you can see it. Switch costumes to jellyfish C. I want it to show the costume. I want it to go to a random position and show, but I don't want it going downward. I want it going upward. So I'm going to change that the Y value from a -2 to a +2. Wait a random amount of time, and then come out. So now I should have 2 jellyfish, one coming downward, and a clone of it going upward. And that looks pretty much like what I want. Except, notice when I hit the jellyfish, it isn't changing my score for either the real one or here the clone. So let's go ahead and fix that. And we'll zoom out a little bit here. And we're going to go to our variable set. Actually, let's go to the shark. So we got our code here in the shark that says, if touching the jellyfish, switch the costume to costume ouch to shark ouch, play the chomp sound, wait 2 seconds, switch the costume back to regular shark. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a change variable here. I want it to switch to ouch. I want it to change the score by -1, play the chomp, wait 2 seconds, and then switch. And so this will work just fine. This will take away 1 point every time we touch the real jellyfish, but you'll notice that in here there is no choice for clone of the jellyfish, and therefore we're going to have to program our clone inside the jellyfish. So I'm going to click all this, and I'm going to make a copy of it inside the jellyfish. Let's drag it down here out of the way and zoom in a little bit. And we're going to say forever. Now we're, again, inside the jellyfish. So I want to be working with the clone, and I'm going to say when I start as a clone, forever, if touching the shark, switch costume to shark ouch, change variable by -1, play the chomp sound, and then switch back to the shark. So this is how we're going to program our clone, and let's check our scores. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to notice that we're starting our shark on the ouch screen. We can fix that in just a second. All right, so we get 1 point by touching our fish. We should lose a point when we touch the jellyfish, and we're not. Let's try the upper jellyfish and see what's going on. Okay, why are we not losing? Oh, duh. I forgot to change the variable name again. So we change that to score, go back into the shark where this code is, change that to the variable score. Now let's check it out. And again, our shark is on the ouch. So we're going to want to go back in a second and have it on a different costume. All right, so now we're up by 1. Did we make another mistake? Did we say change the score to -1? Or is it just going too fast? Let's see. Yeah. So what's happening is it's allowing it to go down 2. All right, so let's see what's going on in our code, because we're losing 2 points every time we touch the jellyfish. We're losing 1 point on the bottom one, so we're at -13. Now we're at -14, but we're losing 2 points on the top one. So let's see what else is in our code here affecting this. When touching the shark, change by -1. Let's do this. Let's break this code on purpose, and let's touch the shark going up. All right, so we've still got it going down by -2 without this code working. So let's see what else we have in here about touching the shark. All right, so just looking through real quick. Let's go back to the shark and look at it. When touching the jellyfish, change the costume by -1. I wonder if it just didn't reset. Let's try to reset it real quick. There it goes. So what happened is we just didn't reset the code. Let's test the one going down. Okay, so in this case, it is picking up the jellyfish as a sprite, and it's picking up the clone as a sprite. So we won't need it in this setting. Depending on the timing of the clone, you may or may not need this, but for right now, let's get rid of it. And our code is working just fine. So now that we have our score working for our clone, let's make a few small changes. First thing we want to do is we want to change our fish so that when the backdrop switches over to game background, before it shows, let's just change the costume to shark, and that way we never start on this red one. And at this point we should have our clone of our jellyfish working and the score for the clone of the jellyfish working. And let's do the same with our fish. So what we're going to do now is we are going to add in a clone to our fish. So we will say when the game starts, we want it to create a clone. Except I don't want just one clone. I want 3 clones on this one. I want 3 fish. So I'm going to add a repeat block and tell it to create 3 clones. Then I am going to copy all of this and paste it down here. So I copied everything from wait 6 seconds to show, forever go to a random position, move, and switch costumes. And it's going to do that for each clone, except I don't want my clone to start on the same costume as my fish. So I'm going to go ahead and have it switch to a different costume. Let's just have it start on costume B. And now when we run our code, we're waiting the 6 seconds, and our fish come at random times, random speeds. Okay. All right, guys, so here we go. We have our clones of our fish, we have our clones of our jellyfish, and we have a functioning playable game. In the next video, we're going to add in a you win screen to sort of polish off the end of our game.